Yeah, Jax, should we start it now?
Yeah, please, sir. Please, sir.
Rajput sir, and
हाँ सर, अनम्यूट पे हूँ।
okay. Good evening, everyone. I see it in Faridabad Income Tax Bar Association. Extend you all a very warm and hearty welcome to 6 days web series. Recent Faridabad Professionals and Faridabad Income Tax Bar Association. I also extend my warm greeting to Amit Arora ji, Dr. Uday Pant ji, Dr. Nanda, Sunil Keshwani ji, Manisha Jaiswal ji, and Ahuja ji. President and Vice President, Club of Faridabad, CS Govind and Singh. Again, welcome all the dear members and participants. May I now request our President, Faridabad Index Association, Advocate Rajput ji.
Thank you, Secretary sir. Thank you. सभी को नमस्कार। अमित अरोड़ा जी, टीम फिटबार, आप सभी का 6 डेज वेब सीरीज के तहत प्रथम दिन के वेबिनार जिसका विषय है फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेस और स्माइल में स्वागत व अभिनंदन करता हूं। यह कार्यक्रम संयुक्त रूप से यह कार्यक्रम फिटबार के द्वारा रोटरी क्लब ऑफ फरीदाबाद संयुक्त रूप से रोटरी क्लब ऑफ फरीदाबाद व इसके पदाधिकारियों का अभिनंदन करता हूं और इस प्रकार के अद्भुत आयोजन के लिए बधाई भी देता हूं। अधिक समय न लेते हुए पुनः सभी का धन्यवाद। इस वेब सीरीज के सफल आयोजन की व्यवस्था के लिए पूर्व प्रधान सीए तजेंद्र भारद्वाज जी का भी विशेष धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा। अब मैं सचिव महोदय से अनुरोध करता हूं कि कार्यक्रम को अतिशीघ्र शुभारंभ करें। आप सभी के स्वास्थ्य के लिए मंगल कामना के साथ बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Rajput sir. May now request the President, rather Charter President, Rotary Club of Faridabad Professionals, CS Govind Mishra ji, for his address, please.
सभी को मेरा प्रणाम और स्नेह। जैसा हमारे फिटबार के प्रमुख दान जी ने बहुत ही क्लिष्ट हिंदी का प्रयोग करते हुए बहुत ही मधुर शब्दों में आप सभी का स्वागत किया है, तो मैं उसी प्रक्रिया को आगे बढ़ाते हुए आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। हृदय से आप सभी का स्वागत है इस वेबिनार में। आइए, 6 दिन ज्ञान की प्रबल धारा के साथ बह रही है। आप इसमें जितना गोता लगाना चाहते हैं गोता लगाइए और जितना भागीरथी के तरह गंगा को जमीन पे लाना चाहते हैं ताकि आपके कहीं ना कहीं पुण्य का एक स्रोत आए और आपका सुखमय हो। मैं फिटबार प्रोफेशनल्स, हमारे रोटरी क्लब को और हमारा जो एसोसिएशन है लीडर्स एवेन्यू, इन तीनों की तरफ से आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। आप सबको धन्यवाद करता हूं, आप लोग हमारे साथ जुड़े, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आज मैं हमारे मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर नंद और हमारे गेस्ट हैं, उनका से कुछ बिंदुओं को प्रकाश डालेंगे जिनको आप प्रयोग करेंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको भी मिलेगा। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच। जतिन जी।
Thank you, Mishra sir, for your words. But also a media professional. Talent has no boundaries, and C. Amit Arora has proved it. A chartered accountant who had bigger goals and a larger-than-life vision has beautifully combined media, fintech innovation, and entrepreneurship. Besides holding reputed posts like being a CFO of CARE, Credit Analysis and Research Limited, Intrepid Travel, and many more, Mr. Arora is also a news anchor at the Doordarshan for the past 21 years and is one of those talents of the nation who has chosen to do a live commentary when the Honorable President of USA, Mr. Donald Trump, visited India. The prestigious event shall always be embarked, both in the history of India and USA. And so will be the golden voice of C. Amit Arora. So, dear members and participants, today we are fortunate to witness the same voice whose vibrations makes the nation proud. For further proceedings of the web series, I hand over the mic to our moderator for the series, C.A. Jagjit Singh Jags. Jags, sir, please.
Thank you, Jatin sir. And it was, the presentations, the given by all the, the available members, the very dignity. So very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome the President of FITBAR, Advocate Vijay Kumar Rajputji, who is with us, and the Vice President of FITBAR, C.A. Jitendra Chawla ji, and also the President Rotary Club, C.S. Govind Mishra ji, and the Vice President of Rotary Club, C.A. Sanjay Singla ji, and the other respected members. I also welcome the mentors of Reset Zindagi, Sunil Keswani sir with us, S.N. Uja sir, Amit Arora ji, the faculty for today's session, Manisha ma'am, and all the other participants, and even, the today guest is, they are with us, Dr. Nanda and Uday ji with us. So welcome again. And all the participants, we feel honored to get your wonderful response for the Reset Zindagi Series 1. Your support motivated team Reset Zindagi to launch the second series. So team of Reset Zindagi with its core life skills experts as panelists in the series of talks in an endeavor in the multi-faced arena of the life skills to offer learners hope, guidance, meanings, and easy to implement life strategies to withstand challenge and achieve success. So this series is continuous to the previous one and with advanced knowledge to help you to achieve success. I happy and proud to announce that the Reset Zindagi Series 2. So we got a great help from the Rotary Club of Faridabad Professional and the FITBAR, the Faridabad Income Tax Bar Association. So please ready and buckle your seat belts and ready for the takeoff to an adventurous journey of life, the Reset Zindagi Series 2. So first, let's enjoy the, the first, today we have the speaker for the today's session, Amit Arora ji. Amit Arora ji, 1 minute sir, मैं पहले आपको introduce कर दूं. So first introduce Amit ji. Let me share the screen first. Is it visible to everyone?
Not yet.
1 minute.
ये जो है ना 76 है दिलजीत सिंह यहाँ पे ये तुम्हारा वो स्टडी सर्कल है जो काशी नगर वाला उसमें डिप्टी कन्वीनर है नहीं उसे बड़े सारे सेमिनार कर है ना वैसे ही आजकल वेबिनार्स में.
Yes sir, so today the day the Amit Arora ji with us, and today is the faculty of sessions, anchor with the public service broadcast, Doordarshan and All India Radio financial management specialist. So faculty with the prestigious institutions like the ICI, Delhi University and the IT University. So I'm not taking much time, so I'm hand over the mic to the Amit ji. Amit ji, now it's over to you. So please start the session, sir.
Thank you very much, CA Jagjit sir. Thank you very much, CA Jatin ji, for your kind words. Thank you to team Reset Zindagi. We're very excited about season 2. Thank you to team FITBAR. Thank you to the Rotary Club Faridabad. So I request Jagjit sir, if you can
Yes, sir.
Bring back the videos. It is so nice to see so everyone's well-being. We are in the wake of a pandemic. It is an unprecedented health crisis that also has an economic impact. And therefore, on financial stress or smile, we'll try to understand the nuances of what could possibly cause financial stress. And we assure you that with the insights from two distinguished guests, we'll be We try to transform that spread into smile. So stay with us wherever you are. We're very happy to welcome you. But rules, we hear a lot of sound in the background. I'm sure you want good quality audio sound. Can I request everyone to please a digital rule that we all have to learn? This is the new normal, that only the speaker unmutes so that the quality of sound is very good. So I humbly request everyone, please mute yourself. This will be an interactive session, so you will have a chance to ask questions, share your thoughts as well, and I will let you know the process. But let me now share the screen to first and foremost begin today by expressing gratitude. Gratitude to all the Corona warriors. It's a sanitation workers, teachers, scientists, anyone, everyone who is working for our safety. I pay gratitude to you. So while the Corona warriors are working for our safety, it is very essential that as a measure of gratitude, we dedicate to you. We are thankful to you. We express our gratitude to you. But it is also essential that we also are responsible citizens. Therefore, whether it is social distancing, wearing masks, or washing hands, please ensure that you make all of these safety measures as part of your lifestyle. I request everyone, please mute yourself. Digital rule to be effective. Please mute yourself. I request the host to please mute everyone. I'm waiting for 2 seconds so that everyone.
Amitji, please unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I've done it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are aware of these things. Social distancing, we are aware of wearing masks, we are aware of washing hands, but it's time now that only awareness will not help. We have to transform this into behavior change communication. So gratitude to Corona warriors, but as a responsible citizen, let's imbibe all of this as part of our lifestyle. Now, because this is an unprecedented situation that the world is going through, it is only natural that any human being undergoes an area of emotions, which could be worry, self-doubt, guilt, anxiety. Let me share that it is okay not to be okay. So if anyone experiences any emotion, it is fine. Like the physical body, we have an emotional body. But the choice is yours. Whatever you choose to focus on will grow. Now our request is that you water the expression of love. If you water the expression of love and positive emotions, it will blossom. And see, when I put this picture of this flower, did you smile or not? And when you smile, you look so good. So let's really smile. Now, you would be happy to note that the United Nations has got a dedicated day, 15th of May, which is celebrated as International Day of Families. So what if it is 4th June today? Every day is a family day. But I wanted to emphasize that if the UN has got 15th of May as International Day of Families, it only underscores the importance of a family. Being together can be a great stress buster. And families are a and strength. Now, India is also a family, and Prime Minister Modi has given a clarion call of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The question we'll be addressing today with our distinguished guests: what is self-reliance from an individual perspective? What is self-reliance from an institutional perspective? And I'm sure you cannot afford to miss that. Now, you have seen there is already a debate happening in India about globalized economy vis-a-vis Swadeshi. Now, what impact it could have on the economy in terms of new opportunities to earn livelihood. We've already seen in the past few weeks, reverse human migration is a reality. This is not only limited to migrant laborers. Laborers are migrating back to their hometowns, but even the other working class is also headed back to their hometowns. Now, we have seen in India, especially in 90s post-liberalization, many people migrated to, say, the capital city of Delhi, or commercial capital of Mumbai, or Ahmedabad, or Patna, or Thiruvananthapuram, seeking better pastures. But post-COVID, as hundreds and thousands of people go back to their respective hometowns, and given the fact that we are now into a digital era where geography has become history, I could be seated here in capital city of Delhi. You attending this live webinar could well be in a district in Bihar, could well be in Gujarat, Odisha, West Bengal, Northeast, Mizoram, Europe, America. That's the power. This is the digital connect. So we'll be focusing on that. And therefore, whatever stress we have, it is fine. Stress is part of life. We acknowledge it. It is okay not to be okay. But then we have to also have a coping mechanism to convert that into smile. Welcome once again to this session on financial stress or smile. I am a journalist. The only skill God has conferred upon me is asking questions. So let me ask this poll question to everyone in attendance today. Are you experiencing financial stress or smile? If you think it is stress, we request you to please type stress in the comment box, STRESS. If you think you're experiencing smile, not only you should flash a smile, you should type it as well. And in few keywords, maybe 1 or 2 keywords, the lesser the better. Because the idea is to convey more, say more with little words. So in few words, maybe 1 or 2 keywords, please share reason for your stress or smile. That will enable our guests to respond to you better. You can tag me on Twitter as well. My Twitter ID is @AmIGood. And any communication that you do with us, #ResetZindagi. It is my extreme honor now to welcome a couple of guests on the webinar. We're very thankful to Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Nanda, Acting Principal, Miranda House, University of Delhi. She is right now with us. Dr. Nanda, thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the session. Dr. Nanda joined Miranda House in 1993. She is an associate professor, Department of Political Science, and her research interests include gender, political theory, and human rights. And as you can see, over the years, she's got a series of publications to her credit. Jagjit sir, I request you to unmute both the speakers as well.
Yes, I already said. Unmuted them.
Dr. Nanda, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you to the panelists as well as to you, Amitji. Thank you.
Thank you. It is my extreme honor to welcome the second guest of the evening, Dr. Uday Pant. He's a former civil servant, having served in that capacity from 1980 to 2016. He's been an international financial management advisor to various countries, including Sri Lanka, East Timor, Afghanistan, Nepal. He's been with the International Monetary Fund as the regional public financial management advisor for the South Asian region. He's a man of multi-talent. He's been an author. He's a blogger. You cannot miss the poem part of his, and he's a social activist. A lot of publications to his credit, but look at number 3, Open Secrets of Happiness. He's got the anthologies in Hindi, English, bilingual. So we'll certainly try to request him to narrate a couple of poems. And of course, his specialization on budgeting, public financial management, payment and accounting systems in India. Dr. Uday Pant, pleasure having you with us on the webinar.
Thank you, Amit, and Dr. Nanda and everybody else.
Thank you, sir. So let me begin by asking Dr. Nanda first question. Dr. Vijayalakshmi Nanda, our audiences are now seeing on screen this evolution chart, a theory that was given by the scientist Charles Darwin. And as Homo sapiens, we human beings believe that we are at the highest level of evolution. Now, I'm confused because if you look at the pandemic and the lockdown times and the associated stress that we have to go, the question is, as human beings, are we fragile or are we resilient? Dr. Nanda.
Thank you, Amit, and thanks to the organizers. This is a very well organized webinar, and I like the title very much. Financial stress or smile. In a time like this, these are very important issues to raise, and we can all jointly and collaboratively discuss these issues. Now, you brought in the Darwinian theory of evolution, and we are talking about whether we have been resilient. Yes, I guess as a species, we have been resilient, we have adapted, we have adopted to different ways, so we have grown in that way. But in a way, we have also harmed the environment. And the environment has finite resources, and it has been impacted very, very badly. And tomorrow is World Environment Day also. So I think it's an important time for us to remember that the way in which we grew, which was unbridled economic growth, it led to devastation for the environment. In fact, the growth of viruses or this pandemic is also related to that kind of a devastation. And many of us have recognized that this lockdown has brought about, in a way, many challenges. But one of the silver lining in that cloud is that the environment has improved to a large extent because human beings have, because of their unbridled economic growth or their disposable incomes or their higher ambitions, they have impacted the environment very, very badly. And the idea of the Mother Earth, who is most resilient, always ready to give, like you showed the flower, it's ready to blossom. So the idea of the finite resources and the infinite resources, we have to understand that. So I think within that, and the Homo sapiens were not the only, there are about 6 species which came during that time. The Homo sapiens existed till now, and now you have a space where those are almost becoming cyborgs. We are now part of, we are almost hybrids of technology and Homo sapiens. And by the way, the word Homo sapien means wise man. So I don't know, we have to be more wise. I think it's important we become more wise. And Darwin spoke about the theory of evolution by talking about the survival of the fittest. But we also have to look at not only, we have to move away from the survival of the fittest to a protective environment where everybody will be fine and fit. I think that's the point I would like to emphasize here. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nanda. That's very enlightening. So human beings means wise, and therefore it is very essential that all of us realize that we have one common address, planet Earth. And when I say we have got one common address, that not only includes human beings, but also microbes, flora, fauna. And the moment this simple thought dawns upon each one of us, we will certainly be wise. Dr. Uday Pant, as human beings, we are not invincible. The pandemic has shown that we are vulnerable and we should accept that.
Yes, of course, everybody is amorphous, I would say, in this world. The point Dr. Nanda was trying to make about environment, we need to combine some of the contemporary jargons with that also. We have to live in coexistence, peaceful coexistence with the environment that includes the flora, the fauna, and the society and everything. So if we are really wise, we have to learn to be, a bit more tolerant, bit more self-reliant, bit more charitable, caring, loving, so many things. So being wise in the social sense and the ultimate spiritual sense, it makes you an enlightened person who is above the normal things that we would have been doing through the development that pictograph you showed of the Darwin's theory. So we have to, yes, we are, I mean, we are at risk at all the time, but you also know that the risk and returns are combined, they are correlated. Higher the risk, higher the return. So we have to convert the risk, which is stress, into return, that is the smiles. So we'll talk about those smiles when you ask that question in particular.
Absolutely. And let's also have a first look at the question that we had asked to the audience. Stress or smile? Jagjit sir, what's the initial trend we are getting?
Just a minute, sir. Always smile despite whole family stress, but try to smile. Stress for not achieving my dreams. Stress, a big smile.
Okay, so good that people are saying smile as well, but many are also saying stress, that how do I accomplish my dream? And Dr. Nanda, as we interact and get feedback on different social media platforms, many youth say that it's unemployment, it is because they're able to not connect with families. So according to you, you're the principal of a college in Delhi University, what could be the possible reasons for financial stress?
I think it's a whole host of issues. I think we are aware of it, and we have to look at it from a class perspective. The unorganized migrant workers, they have suffered because there was no social security for them, and that made it so difficult for them. There was no safe housing for them, and now if you take a look at the policies that have been unfurled, it does take care of those things. But we are thinking now, had we thought of some of these things? The other thing is that there were certain policies and principles, but they did not have awareness about it. So I think largely it is a failure of the civil society. I see it as that. I don't see it only as a failure of the state. The state has policies in place, but somewhere the civil society was not able to connect it with the unorganized workers. So they have been affected the most. Informal sector, domestic helps, all the others, the construction workers, factory workers, they have all been affected by the lockdown. And they live in close quarters, so they are more, vulnerable to getting if there is a community spread, they become vulnerable. So that is there. The middle class, and I noticed the responses also, the middle class is also worst affected. Because the middle class also has, and many of their dreams are on, they are paid through what is called as kists. We pay for our dreams. We do it by planning ahead, and we are always planning ahead. All our lives are spent in planning for ourselves, and it has been worst affected. I was looking at various studies, and they are saying that almost 82%, I think this was a Mint study, there was a survey done, that 82% of Indians are struggling to make ends meet. That's a huge number, and 90% of them have started relooking, refocusing, so they are impacted. There is a huge impact. There is also the potentiality of an impact. Unko pata hai that, if I have this much resources, I have to save for a rainy day. So I think that pressure is also there amongst the middle class, and I'm talking about those who are in the earning group. Those who are not in the employment cycle, which are young people who I deal with on an everyday basis, they are really disturbed. Because where do they go from here? Especially those who are in the third years or who are going to get into the employment sector. Many of them have got our placement cell. They have been placed pretty well in various companies. But now some of those, support systems have been withdrawn. Their appointment letters have been withdrawn naturally for good reasons. They cannot be afforded. So that is the problem. Right now, the problem is how do you provide a social security? Many of us who are in government jobs do have social security. The entrepreneur is going to suffer. The middle class business person is going to suffer. And I think those are the connections that we need to make. We need to understand that this particular pandemic has also shown us our interconnectedness. That I must take care of my health to make you better. Also, in terms of economic consequences, it shows us employment and education, that interconnectedness. The interconnectedness between every person who is there in the market, that interconnectedness is also coming together. But while that is a challenge, I think this particular pandemic has made us realize that we need to stay together, we need to be connected, we need to offer support systems. We have the, our youth is our biggest kind of, celebratory resource. We have the, largest number of youth in this country. So how can we emphasize, how can we bring about this potentiality to its full force? I see it's a hugely, it's an important body that you have here, the CAs. Reaching out and mentoring young people could be the support system that you can provide.
Right. I think when we want to convert stress into smile or any problem into a solution, the first step is acknowledging the problem, acknowledging the pain point, acknowledging the stress. And therefore, to the audience who's sharing their stress points, we're thankful to you. Thank you, Dr. Nanda, for also sharing where perhaps the shoe pinches, and it is across levels. And therefore, let me come to Dr. Uday Pant. Dr. Uday Pant, would you like to add to that stress list? And then what's the solution?
More or less the same points, but unemployment in the first month after pandemic grew from 6%. So which is, you can imagine, so the recent statistics I don't have. Imagine in such a big country, which is not localized, it is globalized. Suddenly there is a complete pause. The supply chain system is not there. Transport is not there. Airlines are not flying. Hotels are closed down. So you can see what will be the kind of impact in the hospitality industry, the hotels, the tourism sector. I don't think there will be any tourists other than these Corona homebound tourists. Anybody would have noticed in the recent weeks. So this, along with the supply chain problem, some of our viewers may be business people, they understand what I'm saying. You cannot get raw material, you cannot get ancillaries, you cannot transport the finished goods, you cannot have proper marketing. So all this caused loss of jobs. But we think that people have not lost jobs, but according to estimates available in Wikipedia or even in the internet or from the independent people, about 14 crore people lost jobs. And no production, no marketing. Obviously, there will be job cut, there will be loss of jobs, there will be unemployment. Government has tried to fill in the gaps by bringing fiscal stimulus, by bringing out social support. But much of these supports are for the BPL, below poverty line people. When we talk about the real ones. The other ones, of course, the 20 lakh crore package for revival and rejuvenating the economy, that has got a share in the pie for everybody, which is a bit of medium to longer term. In the immediate term, the real beneficiaries, and it has to be them. So some of these people who said big smile or smiles, they must be upper middle class people or really enlightened ones. But the realistic ones have said stress smile or stress with smile or smiled stress. So those kind of things. So here the whole economic activity coming to a standstill is all encompassing in everything, employment and the mindsets of the people. People have got tremendous anxiety because of that. They do not know where they will go tomorrow. So that preparedness, which people have the time now, it's time for them to convert the stress into a smile and think medium to longer vision and get on with the life. Life is like that.
So life is with all its twists and turns, and we have to experience the phenomena called life. This is what life is. So Dr. Uday Pant, you were mentioning that reverse migration could actually be beneficial. There are benefits to this.
So the reverse migration has put in a lot of stress in the system, both for the government, who this is the only area where they did not plan well. I mean, in such a big country and certain developments, it happens sometimes. but that has been, the government is aware of that. But in the larger sense, you see, the smile can also be of different types. It can be financial smile, or the social smile, or the cultural smile. So when we talk about social and cultural smiles, this reverse integration, reverse migration will bring them to integrate it, to integrate with the local areas. So when you are at home, when you are in your own familiar habitat, you are a different person. So there you are willing to live with the stress and smile both, because you have a support system, you have a social surroundings which is familiar to you. You are willing to sacrifice small things, and you are willing to live within lesser means or within your means. So those kind of things. And this reverse migration, to my understanding, is going to stay now, because this is not a short-term thing. Many of these people who had come to these cities, so it will be bringing smiles to them. It may not bring smiles to the urban industrialists, because numbers will recede, but they will go in for what we call nowadays the gig economy, the machines and technology taking over the human beings' employment. So these social and cultural smile will also convert into financial or economic smiles, because in the local areas, they will have to think of alternatives. Some of our IITs have taken over. They are doing a lot of exemplary good work. They are in skill development. The University Grants Commission is also trying to set up or convert some of the IITs into specifically for these migrant laborers. They are the universities of skill development. So these are things which are going to be there. And as Prime Minister said, local Atmanirbharta, develop your self-reliance within the local area. So that will opportunity for businesses, small-scale industries, the small jobs. We all know the success stories of Reliance and Nirma and others who started with the.
Yes.
So those are kind of things. The skills are available nowadays.
Right.
Soaps, detergent, anybody buys, everybody it sells. So this is going to be a longer lasting thing, where there will be local economies strengthened, and they will get integrated into market once they start getting into some kind of maturity levels. So it is going to bring all kinds of smiles to them if it is meticulously in the right spirit, start being entrepreneurs in these small ways, because they will have no other jobs otherwise.
Right. Absolutely. So I think, one, we need to be hopeful. Perhaps we will be participating in what is known as gig economy, GIG, gig economy, where freelancing based upon your skill plus will would increase. And therefore, we have to increase and invest in our skills. So that's one. Let's continue to stay hopeful. Unemployment numbers have increased, not only in India, you can see that even in the West, US. And maybe entrepreneurship is the way forward. Local products and learning from, like Dr. Uday Pant mentioned, either Amul Cooperative or Nirma. One can have more small entrepreneurs having big vision from their local districts, district-led growth, cluster-led growth. And it was nice to see the prefix that Dr. Uday Pant added to smile, that not only it could be a financial smile, it could be a social smile, it could be a cultural smile. When you are connecting back to your native town, it does bring a smile. And social and cultural smiles can convert into economic and financial smiles. Only thing is, we have to apply our mind, see the pain point, how using technology we could come to a solution and give society something that benefits for a greater good. Dr. Nanda, we have identified the stress. We are saying, let's be hopeful. Perhaps gig economy, entrepreneurship is the way forward. Let's also talk about resilience. Help us understand, how can we build resilience at the individual level, at the institutional level. Please unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, I have to be unmuted by the host. So I think you have raised a very important point, and I had discussed this in Delhi University too, where I talked about what I call institutional resilience. I mean, we keep talking about individual resilience, but individual resilience or staying the same, it comes from within. Some of us, like you said, some of us are more capable. We may have a spiritual resource, we may have a capability resource, we may have the support system from within the family, or we may have a natural disposition. And these are very inspiring stories. You know, there are many inspiring stories of people who are also poor, downtrodden, but they are also in a way resilient. They are also contributing to people around them. So there are those stories also. And there are very rich people who are not able to contribute at all. So there is that. But individual resilience can be drawn from inspiring stories. It can be drawn through motivational kind of talks. This particular talk, listening to Mr. Pant or listening to you, can give some people a particular kind of strength that, okay, this is how I should do it. I should look at challenges as opportunities. So that is there. But I think in an institutional sense, and that is the idea of Atmanirbharta, I think it's an abhiyan, it's a campaign. It is not talking about individual resilience per se. It is talking about coming together to build resilience. And in that, we have to be very careful that we do not miss the woods for the trees. For example, if I have to think of institutional resilience, I have to think of the most marginalized in that group. So how do we distribute resources that are most marginalized? The person who is at the last in the line, they get, it is to their greatest benefit. It is to their greatest advantage. The moment you do that, and this particular economy has to look at that, it is a care economy. It's not a hyper expansionist economy. It is a she economy. It's not a he economy, it's a she economy, which means it's sane, it is humane, it is ecological. So when we limit our wants, we look at basic needs, we take care of those who are actually, you know, suffering. And in that sense, it's very important that we take a look at minimum wages. We take a look at the kind of social security we have been giving our unorganized workers. Now that there is reverse migration, many of us will miss that support, because it is that, if quote unquote, you can call it a cheap supply of product, in a way, cheap supply of labor that made our lives so much better, in a way, outsourcing all our homework, our domestic work, our other kinds of work. So we have to look at better wages for them. We have to look at better security for them. If we do not do that, they would definitely would rather be in the cultural setup where they get some kind of social security than being in an urban area and being rejected by the system around them. So I think institutional resilience has to be about interconnectedness, about community building, about capacity building. These are very important points. And apart from that, at this point of time, both individual resilience and institutional resilience has to look at not just economic entrepreneurship, but social entrepreneurship. And social entrepreneurship would mean that you have to look at understandings around what are the issues that are most important to us right now. Health. Health has emerged as the major area of work, research. So we should look at it as a growing sector in terms of employment, in terms of education, looking at public health, you know, as a major area for growth. Caregiving roles, you know, because most of that work is for the woman who's working from home or working at home to take care of. So caregiving is a larger area where we can look at a growing sector. We can also look at the IT industry. That would be the growing field also. We need to look at that. So this could emerge as the main areas of work. You may say hospitality industry will come down, but we have to look at the home as an area where we may need to train domestic helps in a particular way and look at better wages for them and look at the rights for them. So, you know, creating a kind of an enabling environment, even for those whom we have ignored till now, will be very important. So I do see it as a opportunity for us to engage with the idea of dignity. So dignity of labor now has to be given importance. It has to be the center of our discussions. All kinds of dignity. Even if you're looking at startup, you have to look at that. Other than that, I think mental health has emerged in a big sort of way. I think everywhere I'm seeing people writing, you know, my dreams, they can't be fulfilled. You can imagine how that is for everyone who has been dreaming. this is a very tough time. So mental health services have to be provided to each and every person. And there has to be, I mean, we keep talking about the COVID warriors only from the point of view of looking at the pandemic and looking at infectious diseases. But I think all the tranches that have been provided here, mental health should be a major area of work, research, support. It is emerging as the, there is a lead and lag in that area. There's a lead in many ways. We have been offering services, but there is a lag in the kind of services offered. So at all levels that is there, that is a very important area, I think, at this point of time. The other point, of course, is that we have to look at interconnectedness of human beings. How can we also have time for pleasure, for leisure, for entertainment? We always don't have to be productive. I mean, if we cannot always be measured by productivity, we are not machines in that way. So I would also hesitate to say that machines should take over where human beings are. We should always make space for human beings, because that is where the crux of employability lies. So I think there has to be a blended approach, and I don't know whether that really answers your question, but we are all looking for answers. So I think in that light, I would like to stop my answer here.
Well, it certainly answers our question. I think mental health has to be a priority. In 2017, there was a dedicated mental health act as well. So India has progressed a bit, but like I said, it is okay not to be okay. So let us not assume that every time everything will happen the way we want in life. There are external circumstances not in our control, but the respond to that would be 100% in our control. And when we talk about fighting COVID-19 also, the doctors say increase immunity. A lot of people talk about balanced diet and physical well-being for immunity, which is important. But if you are positive thoughts, not positive in corona, even if positive in corona, you can follow the guidelines for quarantine and still recover. I'm saying a good positive mental health also boosts one's immunity. So that's a very important point that made. So gig works based upon your skill will be offered. Second, Dr. Nanda said it will be not he, but she economy. Nothing to do with gender, although she specializes in gender research. She stands for sane, humane, and economic economy. The third word she used is care economy. Public health has to be a priority. I cannot say my house is clean, but the neighborhood is not clean. That's where sanitation, public health, perhaps could also become livelihood issues, and we can find livelihood in caregiving, and the sector could see a rise. Dignity of labor has to happen. And if you look at Indian Constitution as well, Dr. Nanda, it talks about fraternity, coming together. And you were telling me worldwide also, there are a lot of quotes. Like, for example, there's a quote which says, it requires a village to raise a child.
Already.
Please unmute yourself.
Yes, मैंने already Vijay
So
Lakshmi
yes, if this question is to be, and or rather I would share here, there is an understanding that is there from the African kind of values that are there. It takes a village to raise a child, and there is also the South African saying, which is a Zulu saying, which says Ubuntu, I am because you are. Yes. So we are in that sense, and then we have our wonderful Indian philosophy from the Maha Upanishad, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning the world is one family. I think the COVID-19 has shown us we can't ignore each other. We cannot, whether we belong to any caste, any community, any race, I think it is, or the national boundaries, it has no respect for any of that. So I think when there is a pandemic which makes us realize our interconnectedness, it is our time to act in an interconnected way. And that act has to be about everyone. We can't leave anybody behind. That's the most important point here. And my kind of work within the institution where I am an acting principal now, and I have been a teacher for 27 years, I've always felt that if you reach out and you bring about a participatory kind of a discussion, you will find solutions within that. So the idea is to have more consultation and to emphasize on solidarity, that we all get together, and not to demonize or idealize. Do not demonize anything that has come in, because these are all, piecemeal, and do not idealize anything. I'm sure something will come out from a consultative process by acting together, by joining hands together. And I think that there are two most important things. I think it's drawn from political theory, but I would like to put it. One is the ability to forgive. We develop this idea of forgiveness, because otherwise we irritable. You would only be anxiety ridden that, you know, this has happened to me, this is my enemy. So the ability to forgive and the ability to make a commitment, a promise that yes, move forward. So in that light, these are very important for institutional resilience. It must make commitments and see it through. And the institution must also forgive itself if it has made some errors by moving forward. So in that sense, and also not demonizing nor idealizing, we have to develop, I think, Mr. Pant, whom I also know personally, we have had conversations earlier, he spoke here about compassion. I think empathy, compassion, these are very important ideas. But along with empathy and compassion, we should never forget, and you put it very well, the constitutional guarantee of justice. It is all there. It is there. Labor laws are very clear. Minimum wage is very clear. Mental Health Act is there. PW Act is there. I think we need to be aware that it is all there. We need to practice it. We need to implement it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you mentioned that your husband and Dr. Uday Pant both are ICS batchmates. So Dr. Pant, we'd like to tell the audience that Indian Civil Account Services is a very prestigious civil services, and it was on 1st of March 1976 when, through an act of parliament, the ICS services came into being, and Comptroller Auditor General CAG was divested of the power of accounting. CAG primarily then was the supreme audit institution, and the accounting work came under CGA, and ICS makes a very significant contribution towards public financial management. So one last question to Dr. Uday Pant. Please help our audiences, which comprises an overwhelming majority finance professionals. What could be the opportunities in public financial management?
Well, public financial management primarily is meant for government to manage the finances of the public. So if they have to be productive, if they add up to the GDP numbers, they have to pay lesser taxes. That is all will be the opportunity, and they will have more investments in the welfare outreach of the government and development of infrastructure, social as well as physical. All those things will come with the taxpayers' money only. So the economic activity must increase. Then only it will have opportunities. So, but at the same time, from the public financial management, as you said, what is the opportunity for them? The skill development programs and the employment generation programs of the government join in, chip in, and some of the, I would say, the corporates and the business people should, or the Ministry of Company Affairs, Corporate Affairs, should think of channelizing some of the corporate social responsibility funding to these small events, small things which are doable and may not look viable, but they may actually be viable from the income support and the employment generation locally, those kind of things. So we'll have to do a lot of innovations apart from changing of the mindset and thinking in terms of both individual and institutional facilitation and linkages. So we have also to learn, the globe is experiencing that everything was being produced in China. So now that people are a bit of hesitant to deal with China for every time, all time. So they are developing local manufacturing back again. So the same thing will happen, the development of what we call is the low incremental output based industrialization in the local areas, promoting agro-based and local industries, the herbal products, the kind of farm tourism, or the, if I may say, about the reverse migration thing, something which can happen is that, for example, I come from Uttarakhand, so we have ghost villages, everyone knows that. So with the reverse migration, they get recharged, rejuvenized. say the government or the systems has to facilitate to develop them into economically viable clusters instead of having 500 people living on 500 hilltops. There can be a kind of community housing and habitat which is economically viable, produces employment, consumption pattern is increasing, and all those things. So those will be the opportunities. The governments, which they never thought of these things, they must think of. It is not just Uttarakhand; it will happen for any small state,
right,
where the scattered habitats should be developed into clusters with better town planning, better amenities, better entertainment, playing grounds, common things, the water and sanitation programs. All those happens. It adds into synergy and with lesser energy and lesser funding.
Yes, absolutely. Well, before we conclude, I have one request for Dr. Uday Pant, which I will share in just a bit. But before that, let me thank Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Nanda, Dr. Uday Pant, for taking time out, being part of this live webinar and sharing such illuminating thoughts. Thank you to both my guests. And let's go to CA Jagjit Singh for any questions from the audience.
Yes, sir. Amit sir, I got one question from the participant. So now one person is asking, so how to overcome the anxiety in the stress period? So what is the method? How to overcome?
Dr. Nanda, unmute please.
You're already unmute from my side, ma'am, please.
Dr. Nanda, unmute please.
Yes, that's better. So now I think the question is very important, and we cannot. Mental health is a very important issue, and there are two ways to look at it. One is an anxiety, which is a neuro, like something that is happening, which is a trigger at that particular point of time, and which is under your control. And the other is a mental health kind of a condition. There, I don't think we should try first aid counseling. We should definitely go to a medical practitioner. We should discuss with psychiatrists or counselors and discuss and what are the kind of support systems that are necessary that should be provided. But if you are looking at it only from the point of view of a generic understanding that I'm feeling anxious right now, which is not so much about, the larger kind of issues that you are raising here. So in that sense, if it is not within the paradigm of the mental health condition, then we do talk about, the kind of exercising, thinking positively, looking at the issues that you are raising here. But I resist from making these comments because individually I know we can all pick up a wish list or a laundry list of what should be done, but many of us find it difficult to do so. Yes. However, I would say for me, individually, if you ask me, for me, the most important part of controlling my own stress is reaching out to people, to emphasize on solidarity, to have conversations, to find something in which I am able to self-actualize. Like I am doing something for somebody else, or I'm making things better, or in some way I'm connected to the issue. So I think we should find our own ways. Some people like to listen to music. We should find our own ways, and self-care is a very important part of that. So we should take care of ourselves and be very kind to ourselves also.
Right. I think that's very important. Self-care, and you perhaps have to find your own way. There can be a lot of coping mechanisms, whether it's therapy, exercise, pursuing your hobby, yoga, connecting with nature, time management, or music. Find your own way. But I think let's talk is very essential. Having a conversation with yourself, your family, webinars like this, I hope in their own way help. And that's why we're doing this series called Reset Zindagi. Finally, my request to Dr. Uday Pant. Since one of the coping mechanism is music, and you said you come from Uttarakhand, can the audiences tuned today listen to a poem or a song in the native Kumaoni language from Dr. Uday Pant? And we'll conclude with that.
Okay. How much time do you have?
Sir, a minute.
You understand? Others also can try. It's easy to understand. कभी अब हमन यस जस चिताई मतलब it feels like कभी अब हमन यस जस चिताई भांग फूल जो तो शहरन हमार पहाड़े भलचू भल मतलब भला पहाड़े भलचू आजकल कुल कोची बोची हरे कभी कोरोना बजी रहो कभी विश्व युद्ध बात है घरबंदी हरे सबने की फिर ले कई लोग मानन वो कथा पटी आई छन उनन के बीमारी नहीं हुन पहाड़ी लोग तो फिट रूनी पहाड़ी लोग फिट रूनी लेकिन परहेज करनी कहो यहाँ कोई क्या की नहीं सुनन पहाड़े भल छू चिताई कभी कभी हम यस लागा हम कभी कभी हमें ऐसा लगता है कि पहाड़ी अच्छा है ये शहर बेकार है यहाँ कोई किसी की नहीं सुनता ना कोई सरकार की सुनता है वहाँ सब सबकी सुनते हैं दैट इज द एसेंस ऑफ दैट सो go back to the hills. That's what.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, you are from the hills, and therefore that's the best advice you could possibly give. Dr. Nanda, let me just quickly check spontaneously. Can you sing just hum a couple of lines or something, poem?
I wouldn't want to do that to the audience, but yes, I wish you all well. Stay safe, stay well.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Nanda, Dr. Uday Pant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michi. Thank you very much.
Over to Jagjit sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Vijay Lakshmi Nanda ma'am and the Uday sir for your giving your precious time from your busy schedule. Thank you, Amit sir, for the wonderful session. So, if I talk about the tomorrow speaker, so Amit sir, I'm sharing the screen of the next day faculty. So tomorrow we have the next faculty is our very senior, very cool and calm person, Surendra Narayan Ahuja sir. So I'm requesting all the participants, so be with us, and the tomorrow day definitely it will be again the value addition for everyone. So tomorrow at the same time. So now I'm requesting to Tejinder sir, Tejinder Bhardwaj ji. Yes sir.
Sir.
Bhardwaj ji sir, please share some valuable your thoughts before we concluding this session, sir.
Sir, after hearing so many good things and so many advices from the learned speakers, I came to conclusion only one thing, that this is my brain which works. If I have control on my brain, I can do everything and anything, because this part of a small part which I can use as for positivity or negativity. There was a time when we as chartered accountant earn and smile. But now in this pandemic, in this lockdown, we have seen that you give and smile, because seeing smile on others' face is the most important part of life, which the nature has taught us in last 3 months. Ma'am, but as a chartered accountant, as a worker in the society, I feel that ships are made for the high seas and not for the harbors. So we are the ships, we are the big ships where we need to give counseling to hundreds of our clients. We maintain hundreds of lives by giving them salaries. So we are the ships, we have to perform like ships. So we need not to worry from corona or any pandemic. We have to keep ourselves safe. Yes, sir. Amit ji.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tejinder sir. I just wanted to say, borrowing from what you just said, that a smooth sea never makes a skillful sailor.
Yes, skilled sailor. Exactly.
Yes.
This is the thing which I could learn and I could earn in last 3 months, that courage in yourself will win everything.
Thank you very much. So once again, a reminder, tomorrow, same time, 6 through 7 in the evening. It's a special day, as Dr. Nanda said, 5th of June, celebrated across the world as World Environment Day. Shri S.N. Ahuja sir, he is in the 7th decade of his life, and as incredible as it may sound, 60 years of mentorship. And you cannot afford to miss Ahuja sir's session. The topic is very interesting. How just 7 qualities can transform your personality. So this is going to be the second session of Reset Zindagi Season 2 series. Do join us on Zoom from 6 to 7 in the evening. There's no charge. All we want is you to invest your time, engage, and we dedicate this series to Corona Warriors. Jagjit sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Amit sir. Thank you. Now it's over to Jatin Nagpal, sir. Jatin Nagpal ji.
Thank you, Jack,
sir. Please continue, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all for the wonderful session. May I now request our senior Tejinder Bhardwaj ji, immediate past president of Pit Bar, for the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jatin ji. Delighted to give thanks to Dr. Nanda and Dr. Uday, because they have really given their very valuable inputs, valuable advice to follow in our lives. I'm thankful to all the officials of FITBAR and the persons who have joined us, to all the participants in this webinar. And generally, we used to call after the seminar, please join us for dinner. Now I want you to go safe and have a dinner at your home. Thank you very much.
Let us all meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So stay with us tomorrow at the same time, 6 p.m. Again, we will come again with the new thoughts. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
जैक सर रिकॉर्डिंग क्लोज कर दीजिए प्लीज, आपके एंड से है.
Yes. One minute.